Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about the controversy going on in the NHL and what happened with the Philadelphia Flyers' Ivan Provorov. So on January 17th, this all started out with these sort of tweets coming from hockey insiders. This individual says, there is word that Flyers' Ivan Provorov did not participate in warm-ups tonight because he declined to wear the team-issued Pride Night jerseys celebrating the LGBTQ plus community. The Flyers said this. The Philadelphia Flyers organization is committed to inclusivity and is proud to support the LGBTQ plus community. Many of our players are active in their support of local LGBTQ plus organizations, and we're proud to host our annual Pride Night again this year. The Flyers will continue to be strong advocates for inclusivity and the LGBTQ plus community. So after this information was released, the media were really hounding him and trying to figure out exactly why he didn't wear the Pride Night jersey and the associated hockey stick. This is what he had to say.
I respect everybody's choices. My choice is to stay true to myself and my religion. That's all I'm going to say. Like I said, that's all I'm going to comment on that. If you have any hockey questions, I would answer those.
Can you just clarify what? Can you clarify your religion?
Russian Orthodox.
So with the game tonight.
So after this clip was put up online, a lot of people ran to social media to call him homophobic and to say he's a bigot. While on the other hand, there was a lot of people defending him because, he has a right to his religious beliefs. He didn't say anything defamatory. He didn't really even claim like anything homophobic. It's just he does not want to wear this item. But a lot of people are wondering, where is this coming from? Like, I think a lot of people would be surprised to learn that the NHL has this Pride Night, has, all of these, more woke leanings given just the state of what the NHL is. So a lot of this context of what is going on in the NHL can actually be traced back to last October when this inclusivity report came out from the NHL. But before I go into that, I want to go over what the NHL's statement on what happened during this game. So they released a statement on Ivan Provorov's decision to boycott the Flyers' Pride Night festivities. I wouldn't really say it was a boycott because if he didn't wear it, he was, I believe, told not to participate. So I don't agree with this type of framing. So apparently the league said players are free to decide which initiatives to support, and we continue to encourage their voices. So this night's actually called Hockey is for Everyone. It's part of a larger initiative the NHL is pushing, which we're going to go over after we get done with this article. But the NHL says Hockey is for Everyone is the umbrella initiative under which the league encourages clubs to celebrate the diversity that exists in their respective markets and to work to achieve more welcoming and inclusive environments for all fans. The NHL said in the statement, quote, clubs decide whom to celebrate, when, and how, with league counsel and support. Players are free to decide which initiatives to support, and we continue to encourage their voices and perspectives on social and cultural issues. And it just goes into what we just watched, saying after the game, Provorov cited his desire to stay true to himself and his religion by not wearing the Pride jersey, and that he said he is a Russian Orthodox. To really understand what exactly is going on in the NHL, well, as of October 2022, the league actually put out this report called Accelerating Diversity and Inclusion. This is a 24-page report which primarily just went over how the league can, continue with its message of diversity, inclusion, how there's too many white people in the league and they need to increase their diversity practices and that sort of stuff. And I actually, when this report initially came out in October, I reported about this. So I'm going to go over what exactly is in this report and how this kind of is connected to this incident. Because like I said, a lot of people don't realize what's going on in the NHL, but the NHL is telling you exactly what they're doing. And things like last night with the Flyers, these are things that are going to happen more and more. And we're seeing this all across sports. You know, you might agree with it, you might disagree with it, but I think it's important to understand like why these things are happening and how they're happening. So, as part of this report, the NHL says they are going to set up diversity hiring baseline after finding that 84% of its workforce is white and 62% is male. And this encompasses the entire, league and networks associated with the league. So, not just the players, but like administrators, but largely like it is the league saying the NHL announced it has recently conducted its first internal demographic study of its workforce in all 32 teams and believes it needs to do more to up the diversity of the organization. So the report's called the Accelerating Diversity and Inclusion, which was released on October 18, 2022, found that 83.6% of the NHL's workforce is white, while nearly 62% is also male. And then at the time, Kim Davis, who's the NHL EVP of Social Impact Growth and Legislative Affairs, this is what she had to say about this report. She said the whole purpose behind doing a workforce study is to provide a baseline, a fact-based baseline, so that you can begin to develop very intentional and specific strategies around where you need to hire, how you need to hire, how you need to improve your brand. And here you can see what they found to be the racial makeup or demographics of the entire workforce of the NHL, including teams and other associated employees. They also found that 93% of the people who work in the league or anything across the workforce was straight, while only about 1.5% of them identify as bisexual, and just a little more than 1% of people who work in the league consider themselves gay. So the report states that the National Hockey League and its 32 clubs are working diligently to bring about a new era of inclusion, diversity, and equality in hockey, while also leveraging a global platform and influence to promote positive social change. Quote, the past 2 years have seen the development of new strategies and programs to achieve an empowering environment for unrepresented players at all levels of hockey and to promote allyship among hockey's traditional demographics. I don't know about you, but I would say hockey's traditional demographics are not necessarily the people they're trying to target their audience towards for these type of strategies. I mean, when I think of hockey, sorry to say, I think of males, and I typically think of white males. Of course, like males of all race do enjoy hockey, but traditionally sounding, it's been more of a white male dominated sport, even in their audience. So the NHL says that while progress has been made, there is much more work to be done. The lived experiences of NHL players, fans, and employees who identify as Black, Indigenous, and people of color continue to provide examples of how structures and cultures must shift to create an inclusive environment for all. We recognize the need for change alongside the NHL's commitment to advance these changes on and off the ice. So while I was reading the report, I didn't see anything specifically about, there being issues in the past of racial biases within the leagues or within the network in totality. That was just not in the report. So I was kind of confused when reading these passages, especially about this point of combating racism. If you don't have racism within your, workforce and these sort of things, like how do you combat something that you're not identifying that currently exists in your corporate structure? So the NHL says they will combat racism and discrimination through education and accountability and look to increase the diversity of the workforce and on ice talent to, quote, expand our talent pool through Job Wells' network of Black, Latinx, and Native American professionals. So how the NHL is wanting to increase inclusion within their leagues is they're going to spend more money, basically. So the NHL says they hired a, quote, a full-time director of recruiting in late 2021 who focused on attracting diverse talent to the organization. the NHL established employee resource groups for employees of color, LGBTQ plus employees, women, and young professionals. The NHL also says they will move toward more political activism, including endorsements of the Freedom to Vote Act, which addresses barriers that affect BIPOC and disabled voters. I don't know about you. I don't know what that has to do with hockey or the people who watch hockey. I think most people at this point, even like liberals, left leaning people, I think a lot of people right now are trying to escape politicization of everything. I mean, sports used to be this thing where you could at least like have an outlet of something you enjoy, like a hobby. Sports is not inherently political, as in like policy matters. Like it can be political if you're on a team and you want to become captain and these sort of things, then like political in that way. But usually people look at their entertainment, their sports, their hobbies as a way of getting away from the things that are more negative in life to enjoy themselves. Only so few people in this world truly enjoy politics. Usually it's a negative for most people in their life. And why are they trying to create these sort of things in something that is supposed to be entertainment? So not only are they going to be getting more involved in political things and, voting type of things, they also are going to increase their advocacy on climate change. Quote, our roundtable with the Environmental Protection Agency, which discussed environmental justice for groups disproportionately affected by climate change. Why is the NHL doing a roundtable with government agencies? How does that have anything to do with the sport itself or the fans they're trying to sell their products to and sell their entertainment to? Because at the end of the day, what the NHL is supposed to be doing is be creating an experience for the people who go to the game and who watch it at home. Why are they talking to the EPA and government agencies? It is beyond me what this is about. So what they say is part of the plan also includes education to, quote, improve awareness, consciousness, and competency of personnel throughout all levels of the game on issues of bias, identity, racism, and culture. These players are playing. They're not speaking to you and I while they're on ice. I just don't understand. This is just trying to create this hostile environment for people like Ivan who do have a different opinion and do hold religious beliefs that might be different from people on their team. I mean, honestly, these type of things, while they are for things like inclusion, they can make a team quite hostile to that one player who isn't going along with what everyone else is going along with. And it can hurt those players because people like Ivan are going to have to choose to, is my religion more important to me, or is my possible fate on this team and my relationship with my teammates and my coach more important to me? And that's just these are things that shouldn't even be part of the game of hockey. This is hockey. This is not a political club. This is not a friend group, but to certain extents, there are friendships that need to be formed to have a good team. And when you're bringing in more of these hostile conversations, these hostile issues that do become hostile, unfortunately, because people have different opinions, and there might be people on the team who might, not like his position here and might, try to use it later to hurt him or something. I'm not saying that's happening, but there is always that possibility when you bring in these type of things. It is not good for team morale for people to be butting heads with each other over things that don't seem to be part of the game of hockey. It's different if people are butting heads with each other on the team because someone messed up a play or, someone interjected themselves when there was, an understanding of how a play was going to go. But this is going beyond the game of hockey and what these professionals are there to be doing. I mean, at the end of the day, these hockey players are there to do a job, not to be political puppets of the organization. That's not what people sign up for when they become professional athletes. They do not sign up to become politicians. They do not sign up to become political activists. They can do that in their own personal life. And I think that the league is really overstepping their boundaries here. And it also seems like this is becoming a mandatory thing in the league. So the NHL says every full-time league office employee from senior leadership to support roles participated in an immersive 2-day inclusion learning and experience that explored how bias, privilege, and power operate in society. What does this have to do with the game of hockey? So the organization also says they want to improve recruiting, hiring, and development practices through hockey to increase BIPOC and female involvement in business and hockey operations positions. So this might be kind of where they're coming at. So they're trying to maybe create a new audience of people who did not watch hockey before, at least. So another part of the NHL's plan is to increase the marketing strategy to, quote, to further develop content and communication strategies to increase and expand the appeal of hockey to young, diverse audiences. I'm sorry, but there's hockey people and there's not hockey people. There's football people and there's not football people. Bringing in this woke stuff is not going to create sports fans overnight. That's just not how this works. And it's interesting how much money these organizations are funneling into this stuff in order to get an audience of people who, if were not into hockey before, I don't see how this is going to make someone enjoy watching hockey. It's so strange. I don't understand exactly like what their strategy here is. Like, if I understand their strategy, I don't see it being actually a strategy that works. That's why I don't understand it. So not only are they changing their marketing strategies, they're also going to change their operations to how partnerships are chosen, saying they seek to, quote, advance supplier and vendor relationships to further engage with BIPOC and female-owned businesses and shift business partner relationships to collaborate on initiatives focused on BIPOC and female audiences. So the NHL has probably had a lot of partnerships in the past that they've had for a really long time. Seems like things have been working out. So why change something that isn't broken? I have never heard anyone complain about these type of things, like publicly, hockey fans in general. Like, I've never heard them complain about like, oh, I want the NHL to do more vending with businesses based off their race or their sex. I've never heard this in my life. I would say I would hear more like sports fans in general complaining that sports leagues and sport organizations are now doing this because it does come off more discriminatory. Because when you're doing something and you're trying to say we're trying to reduce discrimination by discriminating people who are not female and not people of color, it just seems really hypocritical because at the end of the day, like, yeah, if someone can provide you with a better product, good. Like, if you can find a better vendor and they just so happen to be a person of color or a female-owned business, that's great. But when you're saying we're seeking these people regardless, that's discriminatory. Like, it's just ridiculous how this whole like woke mindset is overtaking all of these ideas of how business actually operates. And it doesn't mean your business is going to be better. It doesn't mean people are going to like your business more unless that is your core fan group. But that's just not the core fan group. They don't really care what you're doing if you're providing the product which people are coming for hockey night for. They're not coming for this. They're coming for the players doing a good job on the ice and production value being good. So I want to hear from you guys. Are you guys hockey fans? Did you know about this report? Were you aware of what the NHL's intentions are to do with the future of the league? Do you agree with it? I mean, some people will agree with it, and I think that's totally fine. If you feel like that's going to make you now an NHL fan, then I guess the organization is doing exactly the right thing if they can actually garner new fans. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this, and thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye, guys.